think, believe me, these niggas died of me. Look what I'm becoming. That I did, it made a man of me. All the that I did, I swear my mother.
What it do, YouTube? It's Ty Fetty with the Fetty. Back at y'all another video, man. Y'all know why we here. To handle business. But before we handle that business, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure y'all subscribe, bro. I'm going to say it again. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Feel me? I'm going to say it one more. Matter of fact, like, comment, subscribe. Before I gotta beat you up, y'all know what's going on, man. Instagram will be right here. Y'all know what's going on, man. Tap in with your boy. Press that follow button. DM me. Likes, comments, suggestions, questions, concerns, whatever. I respond to it all. Y'all know this ain't that, bro. We not Hollywood, bro. I rock with y'all the long way, the strong way. You hear me? We got the story of Chinx Drugz. Don't know who this is. Don't know what it's about. Never heard of him. I might be under a rock. If I'm under a rock, let me know in the comments. I don't know who this is. But one of y'all send it to me on Instagram. That's why I say it. Any video recommendations, DM me on Instagram, TyFetty_. I got y'all, bro. It's that simple, man. Let's tap in and see what's going on with Chinx Drugz.
Chinx Drugz had all the talent and momentum he needed to take over the industry and blow up even more than his homie French Montana.
New York.
In 2015, the game was shocked when he was murdered in a brutal drive-by. This is the wild and tragic story of Chinx Drugz. Chinx came up in a wild neighborhood in Queens called Far Rockaway, and it's not named Far for no reason. It's one of the most isolated parts of the city right on the ocean. But that don't mean the streets aren't just as active out there. He started rapping in junior high for fun, but back then, hopping in the trenches was the only way to get real money. His mom worked all the time to support the family since Chinx's dad wasn't around much and died when he was a teenager. But instead of taking her lead and getting a normal job, Chinx dropped out of high school and was rapping and hustling full time. Chinx was still moving weight, but he always had plans to leave all that behind and make it in the rap game. Instead of blowing all his money on clothes, cars, and jewelry, he invested it in his career and started paying for studio time. He had been rapping with his homie Stack Bundles since they were in high school, and in the early 2000s, they linked up with two more dudes named Bino and Ka2Gs to form a rap crew called Riot Squad. The four of them started building a buzz in the local scene, but that's when the streets caught up to Chinx for the first time. The Riot Squad was on their way up in the industry and building a lot of momentum. Chinx and his homies were trying to start their own wave, but in 2005, he got booked for attempted murder. Back in '99, Chinx and his homies snatched the dude's chains and shot him. It's not clear how the cops were able to connect it to him 6 years later, but Chinx ended up getting sentenced to almost 5 years right when the Riot Squad was about to pop off.
Damn.
Chinx getting locked up was a huge blow to the crew, but Stack Bundles held it down for him and kept his name alive in the industry while he was behind bars. Stack linked up with Jim Jones and Max B to make a collective called Bird Gang. While Chinx was sitting down for the charge, he was still winning because of Stack. Fans were ready to see them link back up in the booth and blow up more than ever. But in 2007, tragedy struck, and Chinx took his biggest L yet. Stack kept Chinx's name in the mix and was blowing up more in the industry every day. But instead of leaving his hood and getting away from the streets, he stayed in Far Rockaway and always kept a big entourage around him. He had a spot in one of the Rockaway housing apartments surrounded by people who knew him in the trenches. And Stack put a target on his back by whipping a new Porsche around the hood. One of his neighbors asked him why he was hanging around a bunch of dudes who weren't really his friends. And Stack told her, "Auntie, it's better to keep your enemies close." Unfortunately, that wasn't true though.
Damn.
And in 2007, someone caught him in the building lobby and shot him in the neck and head. Stack was a talented dude who also studied music and art in college for a while. But unfortunately, he stuck around his old hood for too long and it caught up to him. In 2013, Chinx told XXL that he wasn't even gonna rap anymore after Stack died. But after he got released from jail, Chinx saw how big of an effect Stack had on the city and his fans. Chinx said, "People love him out here, and I didn't want to let that die. So this is for him, his family at the end of the day. That's why I keep it moving." Chinx had lost one of his closest homies and couldn't do anything about it from behind bars.
That's crazy,
When he got
bro.
out in 2008, the work Stack put in the industry helped Chinx blow up more than ever. Chinx was at a club and one of Max B's homies came up and said Max wanted to meet him. Max B had a falling out with Jim Jones and left Bird Gang, but linking up with him could have been huge for Chinx back then. But before they could drop anything together, Max B got caught up in a wild murder case that ended up getting him 75 years in prison.
Bruh. 75 years for robbery is insane. 75 years for a robbery is crazy. And that just made me think, because they just said Chinx got hit with 5 years for attempted murder. He got 75 for a robbery. So either Chinx could have beat that case and they ain't had no evidence. He just took the plea that they threw at him. Or Max B ain't had no lawyer. Shorty, 75 for a rock. What did they take? The damn planet? Bruh, that's crazy.
According to the cops, Max ordered his girlfriend and stepbrother to rob 2 dudes at a New Jersey Holiday Inn.
And he didn't even do it?
Into Alan Plowden's room and tied him up with duct tape while they waited for his homie, David Taylor, to come into the room. When Taylor walked through the door, one of them put a gun to his head and shot him point blank. Taylor didn't even have any money on him,
damn.
so Max B's girl and stepbrother just ran off after killing him. Plowden got out of the tape and reported the murder to the hotel. And when the cops showed up, they found him trying to take $30K in cash out of the room. In 2009, Max B was hit with a 75-year sentence. But luckily for Chinx, he had an even better connection in the industry. Max B had introduced Chinx to French Montana, and they hit it off from the jump. They started a crew called Coke Boys, and in April 2009, Chinx finally dropped his debut mixtape after rapping for over a decade. He stayed heavy on the grind and dropped 2 more tapes the next year, plus a collab project with Coke Boys. Chinx wasn't in the industry for long, but he was one of the hardest working dudes in the game. He dropped 15 projects in just 6 years, which is more than most artists release over their whole career. Chinx popped off and hit the mainstream in 2012 with the track I'm a Coke Boy. The original song was already running up numbers, but when Rick Ross, Diddy, and French Montana hop on the remix, they took it to another level. He was known for rapping about his wild come up in the streets, but Chinx wanted to branch out and do music anyone could relate to. He told XXL, "I'm definitely trying to leave my mark with the type of music that made you feel good at one point or another." Chinx was on his way up and working with huge artists like Young Thug. He was building off the momentum that Stat gave him in the industry, and everyone around him knew that it was only a matter of time before Chinx's name would be one of the biggest in the game. But right before he dropped his debut album, Chinx was caught by a shooter in Queens. On May 17, 2015, Chinx performed at Club Red Wolf in Brooklyn. People at the show said everything went great and there wasn't any tension, but outside, 2 dudes with an old grudge were waiting for him. Chinx and his homie Antar Alziada left the club and went to a hookah lounge, but the spot was closed, so they started driving towards the subway station so Chinx could drop Alziada off. While they were sitting at a red light near 84th Drive, a black Mercedes pulled up and shots started flying. Chinx caught at least 8 bullets during the shooting. He drove off and tried to escape, but he was losing too much blood and pulled into a Dunkin' Donuts parking lot. The shooter sped off from the scene, and by the time help arrived, Chinx was tragically already dead. Even though he raps about the streets, everyone knew that Chinx left all the drama behind when he got out of prison. A lot of rappers keep going back to the trenches, even though their careers start popping, but Chinx wasn't like that. He hopped in the booth and never looked back, and that's why his death was even more shocking. At first, cops had no idea who was behind it, but they knew it wasn't a random shooting. A police source told Newsday this was not a road rage episode. This was an assassination. It took years before any new info broke in the case, and when the alleged truth came out, fans realized how crazy the situation really was. In 2017, 2 dudes named Quincy Jones and Jamar Hill were booked for killing Chinx. According to Richard Rudolph with the homicide department, they hunted Chinx down over a fight that they had 6 years before his death. After Chinx got out of prison in 2008, he ended up going to Rikers for a little while for a parole violation in 2009. While he was there, Chinx allegedly threw hands with Quincy over something, and 6 years later, he killed him over it. Quincy was also trying to become a rapper, and Rudolph says that in April 2015, he showed up to one of Chinx's shows and got embarrassed in front of French Montana and Uncle Murda. It's not clear what exactly went down, but Rudolph said it just made Quincy even angrier about everything, and that's why he killed Chinx a month later. People in the industry had a lot of love for Chinx and how hard he worked. After the news broke that he was killed,
crazy, bro.
Jay-Z shouted him out on stage, and tons of other artists hop on social media to mourn him. Hill and Quincy are facing 25 to life, but they still haven't gone to trial yet. It's not clear when they'll finally face the courtroom, but hopefully Chinx's family, friends, and fans will get closure soon.
Yeah, the video dropped. Hold on, I got y'all.
Rest in peace to Chinx Drugz.
The video dropped today, earlier today. They said that happened in 2015 and they still ain't go to trial yet, bruh. They've been sitting for 8 years and haven't even went to trial yet. That's crazy. I know a lot of times it be the, I don't know what, what? Damn. 8 years, no trial, bruh, and you still gotta go to trial? Like, that's crazy, bro. Nah, I ain't know about bro. I ain't gonna lie. Maybe I might have been under a rock because all the rappers he was naming I knew about. Like French Montana, you know, Coke Boys, all that. I knew about that. I ain't know about Chinx Drugz, though. We just got hip, though, man. With that being said, man, it's Ty Fetty with the Fetty, man. Look, make sure y'all stay smart, bruh. Stay dangerous. And I'm going to catch y'all next time. I'm gone.